Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Madera City Council meeting today, Wednesday, March 6, 2024. And I would like to welcome you to this wonderful Tuesday, Wednesday after Super Tuesday. The Madera City Council meeting is open to the public. This meeting will also be available for public viewing and participation through Zoom. Members of the public may also observe the live stream meeting on the city website, www.madera.gov.live. Members of the public may comment on the agenda item of the meeting or remotely through an electronic meeting via phone by dialing 669-900-6833, enter ID 863-3712-2914, hashtag. Comments will also be accepted on via email at citycouncilpubliccomment@madera.gov or by regular mail at 2005 West 4th Street, Madera 93637. I call this meeting to order. Roll call, please. City Clerk Gonzalez.
Mayor Garcia is absent. Mayor Pro Tem Gallegos.
Here.
Councilmember Rodriguez.
Here.
Councilmember Montes. Absent. Councilmember Evans.
Here.
Councilmember Mejia.
Here.
And Councilmember Villegas.
Here.
Thank you, City Clerk Gonzalez. And I have the pleasure of introducing Pastor Eddie Gallegos from Good News Ministry, a good friend of mine, who will be giving us our invocation.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate you having me here this evening. Father, we just invite your presence in this place. We just thank you, Lord, that everybody involved here, all the city council members and mayor and just every agency and department involved in making this city better. I ask that you continue to bless them, bless their homes, bless their marriages, their relationships. I ask if there's any ailments going on health-wise, Lord, that you bring a speedy recovery. I pray, Lord, that if there's any relationships that are severed that should be together, I ask that you mend that and bring it back together. And I pray for all those, not only here in attendance, but those on the live stream. We pray, Lord, over their finances and that you continue to protect them and to bring them to a full recovery if there's something going on health-wise again. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Gallegos. And we'll be doing the Pledge of Allegiance, and that will be Councilwoman Mejia.
Ready, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilwoman Mejia. At this time, we will be looking at approving our agenda. Do my colleagues have any additionals or comments or changes?
Mayor Pro Tem, I move to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second it.
I have an approval and a second. All those in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you. Now we're ready for public comment. Everyone out there, the first 15 minutes here are for the meeting to reserve for members of the public to address the council on items which are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the council. Speakers shall be limited to 3 minutes. Speakers will be asked, but not required, to identify themselves and state the subject of their comments. If the subject is on this item on the agenda, the mayor or Mayor Pro Tem has the option of asking the speaker to hold the comment until that item is called. Comments and items listed on a public hearing on the agenda should be held until the hearing is opened. The council is prohibited by law from taking any action on matters discussed that are not on this agenda, and no adverse conclusion should be drawn if the council does not respond to public comment at that time. Do I have any public comment? Come on up, Mr. Mask.
Good evening, friends. How are we doing tonight?
Good.
Good to be back. Sorry it's been so long. Anyway, William Mask, history professor, Madera Community College, proud lifelong member of Madera. I've come here, 2 invitations. One is definitely from me, and the other one's definitely from the president and the rest of us at the college. On March 21st, we will have our 3rd annual celebration of women in history here at Madera. We have painstakingly for 3 consecutive years now, or well, take away COVID. We didn't do it during COVID, but all 3 times we've painstakingly picked women that represent our community, the children, our young men and women that are going to come to our college and learn and move on and advance in their life and hopefully improve their generational wealth as they go about that trip. I want to introduce our young women. There's 68% of our college to women that have been there, done that, been through that journey, seen those struggles and survived it and been successful in their careers. Every single time these panelists have come to our school and shared their stories, they have touched our students. And this year might very well be the greatest and most charismatic group. Our city council member, Anita Evans, has agreed to join us this year. So we're bringing a little bit of the city to the students this year, like we brought council member Gallegos there last year. Cece, thank you. Appreciate it. And we've already begun communication with 2 of our other young ladies to come join us next year. We want our students to hear from the people that run our city and our county, our businesses, and our district. We want them to hear that it's possible for our young women to be successful. And then on a better note, we want our young men to hear that it's possible for our young women to be successful in their endeavors. That's critically important, right? And the second invitation, that one's for March 21st. I'm leaving you a couple of posters so that you can look at them, maybe make copies and invite the entire city. The second one is probably more important date for most of our community is April 5th. The president's going to put a hardline date and agenda on that date, but it'll be the day that we unveil the 5 murals being painted at our campus right now that represent the majority of the indigenous peoples of this area. The farm workers, Cesar Chavez, Dolores Huerta, the United Farm Workers, the Yokuts Indians, and that's just the start. Those are our first 5. After that, we're going to go even more. We're going to do whatever we can to represent the people of this area that represent our college. That is on April 5th. We're reserving that day for dignitaries. It's the day that we can get all the politicians out to the campus to unveil. We've already got confirmation from Cesar Chavez Jr. I'm waiting for Sister Dolores to reach out and give me a confirmation, but I'm not doubting it's going to happen. She's always come through for us in the past. We want you to be there. We just want you to be there and share it with us. And we'd love for the city council to be out there to represent our city. And I do indeed plan on going to the county and inviting the supervisors. I think it's pertinent that we raise up a hand and give celebration to the indigenous peoples of this land. And then someday maybe we'll do something for the 5 families that dedicated that land to that college. Something very similar to it, only a better, bigger mural, who knows, but we're working on that. So the college is part of Madera. And Madera is the college. We always want that relationship to be rich and strong. And I greatly appreciate everything you've done for us thus far. And I guarantee it, if President Reina could be here, he'd say the same thing. That's it. That's my 3 minutes. I appreciate you. Keep making Madera beautiful. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Mass. Any other public comment? How about written comment? City Clerk Gonzalez?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. We received 2 emails. They've been provided to City Council. Copies have also been printed for the public, and they are placed at the podium.
Perfect. Thank you. With that, I'm going to move on to, I will close public comment and move on to presentations. Our first presentation is going to be presented by Councilwoman Elza Mejia, and that's to recognize Women's History Month.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I am honored to present this proclamation recognizing Women's History Month to Ms. Gail McIntyre. Gail, can you please come up? Ms. Gail McIntyre is a longtime resident in my district and a trailblazer for women in Madera at large. She was the first woman elected to the Madera County Board of Supervisors in 1982. Gail laid the foundation. Gail laid the foundation of women in politics for the rest of us locally. I have known Gail for many years, and I am always inspired by her tenacity and her incredibly kind spirit. Anyone who knows Gail knows that Gail is about getting things done. She lovingly cares for her grandchildren, all while remaining active in our community.
Many local initiatives and groups, including the Association of American University Women, owe much success to the continued commitment of our Madera living Gail. I am happy to have received the unanimous support of this council in choosing Mrs. Gail McIntyre to receive this year's proclamation for Women History Month. And I will now read that to you. Whereas throughout history, the vision and achievements of powerful women have strengthened our nation and opened the doors of opportunity wider for all of us. And whereas today, American women of every ethnic origin, creed, and race play a vital role in our cultural, military, economic, social, and political life. And whereas the memorable role of women in our nation's history has been recorded in the written word and has been told as well in music, on canvas, in stone, and throughout poetry, novels, and dance. And whereas the city of Madera joins in commemorating and encouraging the study, observance, and celebration of the vital role of women in American history. Now, therefore, it be resolved that I, Santos Garcia, Mayor of the City of Madera, and on behalf of the entire City Council, do hereby proclaim March 2024 as Women's History Month. Please join me in congratulating her and thanking Mrs. Gail McIntyre for all of her years of service and commitment in making her story in Madera. Thank you.
I was really surprised to get the phone call from Alicia, the clerk, to say I got this proclamation. It was very unexpected and very much appreciated. And I think I owe a special thank you to Councilwoman Mejia for putting my name up there. It's really appropriate that we call this Women's History Month because it was a very long time ago that I was elected to this board. And I look up here now and I see 3 strong women on the council, and I think that's wonderful. And I see we have a supervisor, a female supervisor. I think, again, that's wonderful. So women, we're very fortunate to live in this country where we can do everything that all the men do. So thank you again for thinking of me, and I very much appreciate this recognition. Thank you.
All right.
I want to open it up so they can see it.
Close enough?
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Congratulations.
So you have to speak into the mic and where?
Thank you again, Gail, for attending, and your husband for being here. Past trustee Ed McIntyre in the audience. Thank you so much. Next, we have Madera County Arts Authority update by Dr. Julie O'Kane. Come on up.
Hi, folks. When I came over here tonight, I saw this big black cloud in the sky, and I thought, this is going to be just like the last time I was here. I keep creating rainstorms. I hope that's not the case. Anyway, thank you for letting me come back and share a couple more things with you. So I guess Mayor Pro Tem Gallegos and council members, thank you for having me. The city has been working on Vision 2025 for 24 years now. And all of that was about upgrading Madera. And so you know that many things have happened during that 25 years when you're focused and moving forward. In 2018, the city was involved in an effort to possibly improve the whole downtown area of Madera. We took our direction from that 2025 plan and expanded it and gave it some depth in what's called the Downtown Madera DOMA plan. And that involved the City Council, the Board of Supervisors, the School Board, and the Arts Council in looking at our city and determining what we could do downtown to improve and revitalize that area. Then the Arts Council has been involved due to its vision to stimulate growth in Madera and the downtown area by infusing the arts. People are attracted to communities that have strong arts programs and a strong downtown area. And so we were pleased to be involved with the city and the county in that effort. And then, if that wasn't enough, we developed the Madera County Arts Authority. Thank you, Mr. Vallegos. He is currently our representative on that, and Cece, who was there before him. And the County Board of Supervisors, the School Board, and the Arts Council are now working together in that effort. Now we're being asked by people out around town, so what's going on with that plan? And how come we don't see anything happening yet? And did you forget about it? You know, we spent a lot of time on it. And so we decided that it would be time for us to put together some kind of video that we could take around and show people that things are really happening. You just can't see everything yet because it takes a long time to come to fruition. But we do have that video, and it's meant for you to take pride in what's happening and to use it to share throughout the community to let them know that you are working hard and the plans are coming together, and we do have better days ahead for our downtown area. So let's roll the film now. Let's try her again, okay?
Again.
While you're getting that ready, City Clerk Gonzalez, I'd like the record to reflect that Councilman Montez has been joining us today.
Madera is at the crossroads. Downtown Madera's better days are almost here. The City of Madera and Caltrans, the County of Madera, the Madera County Arts Council, and the Madera Unified School District are each focusing on improving and reimagining specific portions of downtown center of the heart of California. The city, the county, the school district, and the Arts Council have combined to create the Madera County Arts Authority, which, with the help of videography students at Matilda Torres High School, presents this short video about what our community will soon be. The City of Madera and Caltrans have agreed to redesign Madera's Main Street, Yosemite Avenue, from State Route 99 eastward to High Street, just east of the John Wells Center, the Army National Guard Building, and the Social Services Building. The north-south boundaries are East 4th Street down to East 6th Street. The completed project will make our downtown community more people-friendly and pedestrian walkways, trees, accessible parking, increased lighting, bicycle lanes, street furniture, and outdoor seating will make that happen. Alleyways will be improved to allow for eating outside. Murals will decorate the alley side of downtown businesses. Trees, bushes, and flowers will welcome customers. Madera County has multiple downtown projects in the works. They include revitalizing the long unused 1917 library building on Yosemite Avenue, improving the existing library, and re-envisioning Courthouse Park. Our newly designed downtown park will include safe play areas for children, permanent tables and seating for those who wish to play board games, picnic shelters, shade trees, and designated walkthroughs. Internet interactive downtown walking tours will connect to the library to inform residents and visitors of our town's past and present. The library is envisioned as a community center. Music, reading, and art. Individuals and groups are welcome. Books will be on shelves and online. The library will be a community center for teaching and learning and open to all. Madera Unified is in discussions to increase its presence in downtown Madera, and the Madera County Arts Council is working with Caltrans to apply 20 pieces of art to a new sound blocking wall on northbound State Route 99 in downtown Madera. The art will be placed in 5 groupings on 4 pieces each. It will beautify and, with the addition of plants, will deter tagging. We strive to enable seniors to bond with youngsters for the benefit of all. And as individuals learn from and laugh with each other, our entire community grows socially and economically. Madera is at a crossroads. Better days are almost here.
Great, thank you. A special thanks to Freddie Anderson and the students at Torres High School who put that video together for us. This is not a static document because each time I meet with another group, I'm finding out the next step has happened for someone. Mr. Villegas, would you tell us real quickly what's going to happen on March 15th?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Julia Kane. Yeah, on the 15th, Caltrans is going to make the inauguration of the first mural and freeway between the new courthouse, between the Madera 4. If you're coming from Fresno, it's going to be on the right-hand side. If you're coming from the north, you're going to see to the left. So it should be visible to all the people go to the freeway north and south, and everybody else.
Right.
Whoever want to see it, unless they don't want it.
So it'll be our first clue that we have art in Madera.
Yeah, and after that, the celebration is going to be in the senior citizens and B Street by the post office. So that's what I heard, and we're looking forward for that. Thank you.
Great. That's our first effort to combine action with the City of Madera and the Arts Council and Caltrans of all places. And it was quite an effort, but we got it together and the art's getting ready to go up. And so we have actually something to show for it. So that's good. I've presented Mr. Rodriguez with a copy of our DOMA book. We put this together with our architects, which shows the history of what we've done so far. You may not all know that when you put up those buildings downtown for the apartments, for the veterans and for the older people, that property was chosen, that area was chosen because of the work that this group did, the architectural group did in helping us plan for where there are possible places downtown. And they're helping us with flow on 6th Street, alleyways, all of that kind of thing. So that's all coming to fruition. And then Mr. Rodriguez shared with us the early design of what Yosemite is going to look like when it becomes cozy. And I'm pretty excited about that as well. I would encourage you to continue to look at what other cities are doing in our area. All the other towns are doing more with art, with murals, with cafes, with getting people out and mingling. After COVID, it's hard, but we've got to bring our community back out in the open. And I think this project is going to help us with that. So I encourage you to keep looking at what other cities are doing and bringing their ideas to us here in this community. I think we can create an engaging community in our area if we keep our focus straight ahead. Soon you'll be updating your plan, your vision to the 2050 plan. I sure hope we don't have to wait that long to create a stimulating and exciting downtown Madera. But anyway, thank you. Thank you for listening, and thank you for being involved in all this project. And we look forward to continued efforts as we move over the next year. I think we're going to see a lot in Madera. So thank you very much. Any questions, comments?
I have a question. You mentioned if we were to see ideas, do we email that to you directly, or how would?
You can just send them to me, or you can give them to Mr. Villegas to bring to our meetings.
Okay.
Either way, but I'm easy to email. Great.
Well, thank you, Dr. O'Kane, for coming back, number one, and for all that you do and keeping the arts alive in this community.
Yes, and you too, Ms. Teacher of Arts.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on, we don't have any introductions. We don't have any workshops, so I will move to consent calendar. Do my colleagues have any consent items they'd like to pull? I don't see any. Any public comment on any of the consent items? Any written comment, Alicia?
We have none, Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay. With that, do I have a motion?
To approve consent calendar as presented.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to public hearings, we have none. So petitions, bids, resolutions, ordinance, and agreements. D1, Zero Gravity Skate Park rental for Mad Skate Jam event, free fee waiver. And I think that's Ms. Salazar will be presenting that. Is that correct? Gabby?
Correct. Give me 1 second. Let me go ahead and get ready to share my screen. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, and members of the public. My name is Gabby Salazar, and I'm presenting this item tonight.
Excuse me, Gabby, this is Arnoldo. Your audio is cutting out. I'm not too sure if you can speak potentially a little louder, if you can hear us okay?
Sure, I can hear you guys okay. Can you guys hear me a little bit better?
A little bit. Maybe if you can speak up a tad bit, if that's okay?
Sure.
Without yelling at us?
Sure, I will try my best. Okay, so the Parks Department, Parks and Community Services Department did receive a rental fee waiver request. This was for the Mad Skate Jam event, for an event anticipated this Saturday, March 9th at Zero Gravity Skate Park. And the event is scheduled to take place from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. The event itself is geared towards the skating community, with a chance for local skaters to share tips and tricks and showcase their really cool abilities. The event is expected to attract over 100 attendees. There are vendors scheduled to be there, as well as a Volkswagen Bus Band Club. And the event is liable for all other special events requirements, which have been communicated to the event organizer. The financial impact of this consists of an administrative fee of $25, a rental charge at $50 an hour, and the event organizer is requesting 7 hours, so this totals up to $350. There's also a $50 deposit, and the grand total for the rental fee of the park adds up to $425. Here's a little quick snapshot of the total. Staff would like to note that there has been dedicated time already from staff, from Public Works, as well as the Parks Department, to power wash the tagging and graffiti at the skate park. There's been time already accounted for cleaning the surrounding area in the parking lot, as well as right before the event on Saturday. And then we would like to note that during COVID, as a result of the constant graffiti, staff did refrain from removing the graffiti, considering it was a daily task and due to the cost of the chemicals. Moreover, staff was allocating a tremendous amount of energy to consistently replace the gate, the stolen copper, broken lights, and other vandalism and damages that was happening at the skate park. Here we're showcasing a photo from this week of staff power washing the graffiti and or otherwise artwork at the skate park. And the recommendation tonight is to adopt a resolution waiving the rental fees of Zero Gravity Skate Park related to the celebration of the Mad Skate Jam event on March 9th, 2024 at the cost of $425. The alternative would be the council may elect to reject the fee waiver and require the event organizer to remit any associated fees for the rental at Zero Gravity Skate Park on the date being requested. That concludes my presentation, and I will do my best to answer any questions council may have.
Thank you, Ms. Salzar, for that report. Do my colleagues have any questions? If not, I open up to public comment. I see no public comment. Do we have any written comment?
We have none, Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, I do have a question from a council member, Montez.
Yeah, just a quick question, and I apologize if I didn't hear it. I didn't see it in the staff report that the event is free to the public.
Correct.
Correct? Okay. That's my question.
All right, any further comments? With that, I entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion's passed unanimously. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Salzar, for that report. Moving on to administrative reports. E1, select proclamation recipient for the month of April. City Clerk Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. One moment while I pull up the presentation. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. This evening, we will be discussing the selection of recipients for the month of April for one proclamation for the month of April. Little bit of background is Council adopted a policy governing ceremonial document guidelines on August 2nd, 2023, and on December 20th, 2023, Council approved the 2024 list of annual proclamations. Council also discussed and approved certain proclamations would be labeled as recipient at the discretion of Council. Tonight's recommendation, per Council's direction on December 20th, staff is requesting that Council select a recipient for the proclamation recognizing April as Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Here's a list of the proclamations highlighting April at the recipient at the discretion of Council. I will now turn it back over to you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. Councilman Montez?
My recommendation for that would be CAPMC Victim Services.
Do I have any further council members that have nominations? I don't see any. And Alicia, this is all just, do you need a motion, Shannon, or was just?
I'll second that motion.
Okay.
Could you make that in the form of a motion?
And Chair, did you want to go out to the public before?
Oh, thank you. Bring it out to public comment. All right. And with that, I have a motion.
I move that, so for the month of April, the recipient be CAPMC Victim Services.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and
Council members. Next, I'm moving to E2, Golf Course Advisory Committee update. Is that you also, Gabby, tonight?
I believe so. I will proceed with presenting this item as well.
Okay, thank you.
Here we go. So item E2, informational only regarding the Golf Course Advisory Committee update. Okay, so Golf Course Advisory Committee, this is an informational report regarding the Madera Municipal Golf Course as it relates to an update from the Golf Course Advisory Committee. The committee members have been meeting regularly to discuss golf course related items. And just to kind of give a historical summary, on June 21st, 2023, Council did approve the 9th Amendment to the Madera Municipal Golf Course and Management Lease Agreement with SGM Inc., DBA Sierra Golf Management. The 9th Amendment extended the lease agreement by an additional 5 years, as well as it set various economic modifications that included increasing the base rent, the per round golf rate, capital improvement contributions, as well as setting standards for access to the golf course for city events. The 9th Amendment also introduced the establishment of the Golf Course Advisory Committee and this is to be a 7-member body tasked with providing valuable insights and oversight into the operations and future development of the golf course. The committee did include our city council member, Mr. Jose Rodriguez, our park director, Joe, SGM representative, Dan Bocci, a golfer at large community member, Chico Romero, food and beverage director, representative, Lisa Gill, non-golfer at large community member, Ed McIntyre, and service organization representative, Carla Grant. The committee first met on August 21st, 2023. They have been consistently meeting regularly on the third Monday of each month. And in the October 16, 2023 meeting, the committee did ask for a thorough inspection of the golf course with an emphasis on the assembly building. The city's building department carried out the comprehensive inspection, and on October 25th, a report was prepared for the committee. The report highlighted several areas, and those included the heaved concrete causing water flow towards the building, necessary kitchen repairs, missing paint on external surfaces, mechanical unit recommendations, as well as exit signage recommendations. To address items on the report, efforts have been made towards this, which include tree removal, painting, exit signage, addressing the kitchen repairs, as well as restrooms. There is no financial impact associated with the presentation of this report to council, and there is no recommendation as of this report. That concludes my presentation, and I will do my best to answer any questions council may have.
Perfect. Thank you, Gabby. I'll bring it to my colleagues. So Councilman Rodriguez.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Gabby, thank you for that presentation. Well, I do want to recognize that we do have another advisory member here, Mr. Edward McIntyre. In the efforts of trying to establish this advisory, I just want to make a note that this advisory hasn't been created since the inception of the agreement back in 2009. So as you could imagine, there's some issues that arise just in a lack of maintenance and deferment, just deferring certain maintenance. So we've come to a conclusion that there are some issues that need to be immediately taken care of, priorities. And I don't know, City Manager, when we anticipate on having the advisory committee coming out here and actually making a presentation. I'm not sure if that's a follow-up. I know this is just an update, but we certainly would like to put that on the agenda so that we can have some of the advisory members. I think we had nominated someone to speak on behalf of the advisory, also provided a draft letter so that we can showcase what issues are the municipal golf course is facing, especially those priorities with ADA and what have you.
And thank you very much, Councilmember Rodriguez. Historically, city staff and SGM have provided council with a golf course update in the month of April. And the significance of April is that's when the contract was signed. So historically, that was the plan, to bring it back in April. So at that time, which is, I'm not too sure if it's going to be the first meeting in April or the second meeting in April, but I'll touch base with Parks Director Aber and we'll identify a date. And there are a couple of other benefits to this agreement in that the city is actually contributing $25,000 a year for capital. SGM contributes $25,000 for capital, as does Sugar Pine. So there is $75,000 for capital set aside to make some capital improvements out there. Going back to a council member had indicated a short time ago that the golf course is in need of improvement. The city did pay off its debt in November of 2023. So for the first time since the city took out a loan, I believe in 1990, roughly, the golf course is debt free. And so that's a huge plus. However, the city does pay, the golf course pays the airport approximately $64,000 a year. So it's not completely free. It is $64,000 a year. With all that being said, though, I anticipate that we are going to see improvements. I think one of the challenges that we'll have collectively as a organization and as a community is that there is a lot of deferred maintenance that needs to be addressed. $75,000 a year, I think, is a starting point. I'm not confident that that's going to get us where we collectively want to take it. And I think that's going to be a challenge. However, with that being said, I think this is an opportunity for the council to provide direction and for us collectively with the committee to come up with different scenarios and ideas to how to make it better. That's the goal. And so this is a great opportunity. I think it's a very transparent process. And I think it's been a much needed process. So I think there's some exciting times for the golf course.
Yeah, and if I may, thank you, City Manager Rodriguez, Mayor Pro Tem. And that's great. I appreciate that. But I think initially on that agreement, there was some deferred maintenance that was a priority. And I think after the city staff had done its inspection, that they had pointed out some, ADA certainly priorities that needed to be looked at immediately. I know that the restrooms there were part of the contract, and those are still, it seems like they're Band-Aids on them. So I think that the contract may be vague, and as far as who's going to have to do that, is it us, the landlord, or the tenants? But that needs to be something that we're requesting direction, and that's why I think it's important that we get this on the agenda as soon as possible, but also not neglecting that there are some concerns out there. In the draft letter, I think the advisory had the consensus of the advisory was that this agreement in itself is there's so many amendments to it that it may be better for us to come back and maybe recreate a different agreement so that we can spell out all the details of who's responsible for what. And that was part of the advisory's role, is to go out there and really start making sure that we oversee businesses at the municipal golf course. So that's what I have for today, but I do want to stress that we need to bring this back sooner than later. I mean, if you think, if this council seems to think that April is a better time, that's fine. But I think we've been trying to push for this in the earlier parts of the year. I'm not sure if Member McIntyre would like to speak on that when the public comment comes out, but certainly would like to hear from him if you'd like to chime in. But that's all I have for now. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Councilman Rodriguez. I open it up to public comment.
Didn't mean to put you on the spot there. Not the first time.
Mayor Pro Tem Gallegos, council members, Ed McIntyre. I'm a member of the Golf Course Advisory Committee, 1234 Duchesne, Madera, California. I want to thank City Manager Rodriguez for his comments. They're very salient. It is great to be debt-free. That was a big payment that we made for 30 years. I also want to thank Councilmember Rodriguez for all his good work as part of that subcommittee of council members overseeing the golf course and reviving the advisory committee, which actually never was formed in the first place, but was created at the inception of the lease and then restated in the Ninth Amendment. In that Ninth Amendment, the council directed the first priority to be addressing the restrooms, and they desperately need to be addressed. We don't want that to be what people think of Madera. It's like a gas station restroom that isn't maintained, and I don't want to be harsh, but that's the comments I get. And since we don't have that debt payment, we really need to think about how we're going to maintain the asset. Our tenant is saying that a comparable golf course, if it were to be built today, would be $10 to $15 million. And we've paid that debt off. It was a $3 million debt at the time. So we have that asset, we have the equity, but if we don't do our due diligence in identifying the really critical infrastructure that needs to be taken care of, we're going to lose the value of that asset. And the one thing that didn't get mentioned today, but is in the staff report, is that the advisory committee wants to have a workshop with the city council so that we can get really specific guidance from you. You know, we'll give you our input. You tell us what you want us to focus on. But every year there's supposed to be a USGA report, agronomist report. We had one last year and it was frightening because the irrigation system is not performing the way it's supposed to. They mentioned we should do weed control and do turf work, but don't bother until you have your irrigation system in place because it won't be able to maintain what we do if we did do that. The other thing that we didn't hear tonight, but we are well aware of, is the air conditioning systems on that building or the original air conditioning systems. They don't last 30 years. And these are they're not really functioning. And that works a hardship on our tenants. So we need to get together and say, what are capital improvements, as Councilmember Rodriguez said, and don't use capital improvement money for repairs. And as your city manager has intimated, there will be more money that will be required to get that maintained. And so the other thing, I love the guys from Sierra Golf Management because they provide us with a lot of information, but we are at 30,000 rounds a year. And when this lease was first executed, back in 2009, was it? Yeah, they were looking at getting the rounds up to $50,000. So that would create a lot more income to the golf course and give more discretionary income to the council. 50,000 rounds is enough rounds to increase by 20,000 rounds, and it won't wear out the golf course. If you do too much more, it starts to wear out the facility. So I do think that for you to get the value you expect out of the golf course advisory, that we need to have that initial workshop and come together and get direction from you. And as Councilmember Rodriguez said, it's kind of an unwieldy document to sort through because you have the original lease and then 9 amendments. And many of the amendments are just increasing the time, you know, the extension of the tenancy. But things were put into those as well, little things that came up. So if you're constantly referring back to your original document, how is that modified by the lease amendments? And when you have 9 of them, it gets to be unwieldy. So those of us on the advisory committee are suggesting that we start working toward consolidating that. Won't happen right away, but we should work toward that.
Thank you, Mr. McIntyre. Time is up. I'm not a time person, so I apologize for that.
I still have 3 minutes. It never went off.
I'd like to thank everyone that's on this advisory committee for their volunteer time and diligence to make sure our golf course is up and running and where it should be. So it's informational purpose. City Manager, do we have the directions clear of what council wants staff to do?
Yes.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Salazar, for that report. Moving on to E3, update on progress on Madera Intermodal Transit Center renovation project. Mr. Lima.
Good evening, Council. Mike Lima, Director of Financial Services. Tonight, I have the pleasure of giving you an update on the Madera Intermodal Transit Center renovation project. The city released an RFP soliciting bids to provide engineering and architectural services for the renovation of the Madera Intermodal Transit Center on March 18th, 2023. On March 17th, RRM Design Group was awarded the service agreement to assess the current condition of the Intermodal Transit Center and develop a renovation, design, and construction plan. The plan includes utilizing space for city offices for the grants division, while also establishing a Madera Metro transfer point for passengers. Today, we have Charles Dellinger from RRM Design Group here to provide a presentation on the intermodal design plan. And after he's completed his presentation, I will stop by to wrap things up. Alicia. We're going to go here. Ah, it worked. It worked. Okay. Okay.
Mayor Pro Tem and Council, hopefully I don't stumble with the presentation techniques here, but happy to be here. Really happy to be back in Madera with you. Had some experience in the city, so this project's been fun. We've been a little bit struggling to get back to get the right answer, but we've worked together with staff really, I think, to come with what is the right for the city. So right from the beginning, our three main goals were develop a clear, accessible path. That's from the affordable housing, the veterans housing complex to the transit. Improve the exterior transit waiting area and kind of civic plaza, the sense of the space in front of it and around it. And then improve the interior of this facility for staff as well as for passenger waiting area, places to be warmed and cooled while you're waiting for a bus, which is something that was really highly identified as a need. I'll kind of just walk through some design concepts so you can see and any questions you have after. So one of the main areas, I'm kind of pointing if you can see, is just kind of create a new entrance to the facility, kind of around instead of between the two buildings was kind of a little bit dark and not the most secure for staff. So we kind of open that up on the left side of the building, or it'd be the north side, and then create a new waiting area behind. Right now, there's only a really small bus stop right on the curb. It has some issues with ADA and where the buses pull up. So we're proposing to remove that, create a new waiting area and some new ADA parking. And then along East Street, some landscape improvements, actually reducing some of the tree walls that are kind of in the way of path of travel. There is a small location for public art. We're not designing that, but we wanted to identify that. I think that's a great spot to help improve this area and kind of include as it goes down to Yosemite. Along 5th Street, this is one of the challenges we were working through early on, try to find the right balance and to cost ratio, but so mostly landscape improvements and lighting improvements along 5th. It does take a little circuitous route to the north side because there are some property issues on the south side and some ADA issues that would significantly increase the cost of this. But this whole route would be accessible and gets down to the area of connection. And then lastly, this would be the north side of the current building, revitalizing this asset, providing a secure office, 4 workstations down here, and then an ability for 2 more. So a total of 7 staff workstations, as well as a large meeting room. In addition to that, they'll be able to answer questions to a indoor waiting area and restrooms open to the public during operational times. And then the south side is still open for future use and currently taxi, and I think to be available. Kind of skip through the ceiling plan, and here's some quick renderings of just kind of what the office space can look like. This is what we're going towards. This is it looks good. We believe it's economical. Systems furniture is really not a lot. We're trying to use most of the existing infrastructure that's there and limit how much we're redoing. And then from the transit waiting area, kind of see the reception desk. These are mirrors, or 2-sided mirrors. So we have full visibility out there. And then the restrooms would be behind. Those would be institutional grade. They have to be able to take some abuse. So those will be a little more. I don't want to say quite park bathroom, but a little bit more than a typical office. And here's just the quick kind of finish board. Polished concrete for the exposed areas. We're trying to reduce maintenance. Well, actually, sorry. Any questions from me?
Do my colleagues have any questions for Charles? Good.
Cool.
So the design of this project was funded with a $288,000 AHSC or Affordable Housing and Sustainable Community Grant. About a year ago, council also approved $75,000 of PET MISEA funds would also go to this project. Right now, the plan is to complete the design in the next couple of months. Finish construction documents in May 2024, have bidding go out in roughly August of 24, with construction happening between September of 24 and February of 25. Because the construction contract will be awarded after the beginning of the new fiscal year, staff will be including proposed funding for that construction in the FY 24-25 budget. We anticipate we will be using FTA 5307 funds as well as Measure T monies to afford the construction. That is the end of my presentation. If you have any questions for myself or Mr. Dellinger, we are happy to answer those. Thank you.
All right. Any of my colleagues have any questions or comments? I just have one comment, Mike. Thank you for that information. And Charles, great to see you working with us again. Thank you for making that long trip here to the city and giving us this presentation. At this time, I ask for any public comment. I don't see none. Any written comment, Alicia?
We have none, Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay. And with that, I would like to close up E3. Thank you, Mr. Lima.
Welcome.
Moving on to council reports and announcements, starting with Councilwoman Evans.
I have nothing to report. Oh. Can you imagine? I have nothing to report. God bless everyone.
Thank you. Councilman Montez.
Just want to say thoughts and prayers are going out to the families of the individuals who passed away on that was Avenue 7 accident. Very tragic, and never want to see anything like that happen. But again, hearts and prayers, or thoughts and prayers going out to the families of those individuals. And thank you everyone for participating, doing our civic duty and participating in the elections last night. Feels like a long time ago, but last night. That's it for me.
Thank you. Councilwoman Mejia.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I too would like to express my condolences to all of the families of the farm workers that were killed on Avenue 7 and Road 22. It was incredible to see our community come together during a fundraiser that was pretty much planned in a day. I understand that more than $22,000 were raised for these families. So it was great to see that show of support from our residents here in Madera. Tomorrow, I will be participating for the second time in the Sierra Vista Elementary School's Read Across America Day. So Read Across America was on March 2nd, but they're holding their event tomorrow. I'm excited to participate again. The little kids are always so wonderful. They don't care if I stumble on my words. So I love that. And on Saturday, I will be a part of the International Women's Day. Thank you again to AAUW for inviting me to that. Everyone is invited to come out to Madera South High School. The event is in the cafeteria. It starts at 10 a.m. And lastly, I would just like to say that there was a Measure T website that was launched. There are also opportunities throughout the month to be a part of several town hall meetings and workshops to learn more about Measure T, what it is, and how it would benefit our community, including meeting here and in council chambers on March 27th. So hopefully everybody has an opportunity to get education on Measure T. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Councilwoman Mejia. Councilman Rodriguez.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I just want to thank Councilmember Mejia for making people aware of the Measure T. It's very important. I think it said time over time that Measure T funds a lot of our maintenance and operations when it comes to streets, sidewalks, just any holes in our streets that we have to fix, paving. So it's very important that our constituency understand why our Measure T is so important. So thank you for letting us know that. I did want to just make a comment. After yesterday's elections, I did see the amount of participation. I think it's very common. I don't think it's just Madera, but I think it's statewide, maybe nationwide. But 74,000 registered voters, only 21% came out to vote, and I think it was like 14 or 15,000 total, which was quite a shame because I think we talk about a lot of things that are going on in our country, a lot of things that are going on here locally, but yet you don't come out and vote, and that's very important. So, I just want to say, let's make people aware that your vote certainly counts. I think it's important. I had the opportunity this week to talk to future business leaders of America at the high school, and they had insisted that more people in elected positions go out and talk to them. I'd love to have maybe some of the council, or if all the council, maybe get an opportunity to talk to these young folks. They're up and coming in the business world, but they have no clue of what government does yet, right? So it's important for us to educate them, show them a path. And I'm not sure, Mr. City Manager, if we still have some program. I know that in years past, we had like a Citizens Academy. Not sure if we have something also for our youth, maybe in connection with Madera Unified. We may be able to start getting some of these youth to start coming through our city council and maybe start seeing and take an active role when it comes to making decisions. I know they have something at the Unified District, and I'm sure Councilmember Mayor Pro Tem Gallegos can certainly speak to that. But other than that, I just hope everybody has a good night and be well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Rodriguez. Councilmember Venegas.
Oh, nothing to report.
Thank you. I would just like to thank our staff, Public Works, Streets, and Parks on all that graffiti removal at the skate park. That event is Saturday from 2 to 6, so come on out. We have famous graffiti artists out there painting top-notch graffiti on the actual skate park that our young people will respect, and it will stay nice and clean. So it would have never happened with the hardworking staff that we've had out there this last couple of weeks. Even out in the rain, they were sandblasting that skate park. So I appreciate all their hard work with that, and everyone else in the city doing their job. It is a team effort to do what we do and give the service to the community. So with that, I would ask our attorney to put us in closed session, please.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and Chair Gallegos. We have one item with closed session, item G1, conference with real property negotiator pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.8. The property is 1218 East Cleveland, space 8619 and 23, and Madera, California 93638. The negotiator is Arnaldo Rodriguez and Michael Lima. The negotiating parties are the Meadows Mobile Home Park, and to be determined. Under negotiation is the price and terms of payment.
All right. Thank you for spending your evening with us, everyone.
Before we go into closed session, would you like to ask for public comments on closed session?
That's right. Any public comment on closed session items? Okay. Thank you.
Excuse me one second. Should I be in this? Because I live there.
Oh, if that is the case, then Councilmember Evans, I recommend that you recuse yourself because you're probably within 500 feet of the Meadows. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, City Clerk. City Attorney, can you bring us back from closed session?
Thank you so much. There is no reportable action and taken in closed session. Thank you.
With that, I would like to adjourn our meeting at 7:45, and we'll see everybody Wednesday, March 20th, 2024. Thank you.